Let's talk about prerequisites. Trust me, there aren't many. And considering you're watching this course, you're already a well-versed developer because you're doing Next.js. And to be able to start learning Next.js, you already need to know a bit of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. And if you know those things, you most likely already have a browser. So yes, we're gonna need a browser. You can use any browser you like. In this video, I'll be using Chrome. So if you don't have it, you can download it by going to google.com/Chrome. Then we'll need our code editor. And of course, the most widely used one is Visual Studio Code. So if you're not using it already, I would highly recommend it. You can download it by going to code.visualstudio.com and then download it for your own operating system. Finally, you will need to have Node.js, an open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment. This is going to allow us to set up our Next.js project and run it. So you can download the long-term support version. At the time of the recording, it's 18.17.1, and with it, you'll be good to go to replicate everything we're doing in this course. On the topic of prerequisites, let's discuss modifying the look and feel of our Visual Studio Code. As you can notice, I have a pretty simple and clean code editor. I only keep the things that I want and need at all times. So you can hide some of the icons that are not being used. I prefer to have files or the Explorer on top, search on the left side, source control immediately below it, and then the extensions tab. When it comes to extensions, you won't see me using many. That's because most of these work automatically. So one of these is auto close tag, which is going to automatically close a tag once you open it. Then there's also auto rename tag. So if you rename the opening tag, it's also going to rename the closing tag as well. We have Babel JavaScript, which is Visual Studio Code syntax highlighting for today's JavaScript. Better comments, which are pretty cool, allowing you to add different colored comments. There's also the ES7 Plus React Redux React Native snippets. These are going to allow us to quickly create components. Of course, we're going to need ESLint, but more on that later. GitHub Copilot is amazing. It is a paid tool, but I do believe that they offer first month for free. And also for students, I believe it's always free. So I would highly recommend downloading it and testing it out. It's going to improve your workflow significantly. After that, I have IntelliCode, which is going to also do some AI-assisted development. I use the Material Design icon theme that's going to really nicely display the icons on the left side of your editor. npm IntelliSense to know which packages you have or don't have installed. And then OneDark Pro is my favorite theme. By having it here, you can ensure that your Visual Studio Code is going to look exactly as it does on my screen right here. It is, of course, a dark theme, and I really prefer these muted colors right here. Also, Path IntelliSense. This is going to ensure that you can really easily import specific files. So if you type something, it's going to automatically import it at the top. And since we'll be using Tailwind CSS, also install this one, as it's going to show you a plain CSS representation of Tailwind CSS classes that we're using. So in total, that's about 15 extensions. Feel free to rewatch this video and download and install some of them to ensure you have a similar workspace as I do. That's more or less it when it comes to the prerequisites as well as our Visual Studio Code setup. Another thing we'll be using is the Visual Studio Code built-in terminal, and you can open it by pressing Ctrl and then backtick if you're in Windows. It's going to be a similar combination on the Mac as well. If you cannot find it, you can go to the top, View, and then press Terminal right here and see your shorthand. Great. Now let's ensure that you have Node.js installed by doing Node-V. If you get any kind of numbers here, it means you're good to go. And that means that we can soon get started with creating our application now that your environment is set up.